Good day again, everyone. We are from the University of Santo Tomas, and we will be presenting the famous traditional street game in the Philippines named Luksong Tinik, or Jump Thorns. So let's just have fun discussing and learning how Luksong Tinik was played by the children in the streets and also understand its multiple health and psychological benefits. And along with the kadang-kadang, universities and high schools implement these Philippine games in physical education subjects. So now I will be explaining what Luksong Tinik is. It is already known that games significantly contribute to children's learning in terms of developing critical thinking and creativity. Luksong Tinik, known as jump thorns in English, is the most popular game in the street among Filipino children. It refers to jumping over a barrier of hands and feet. It is commonly played by girls aged between 7 to 12 outside the house without any equipment, as this game only requires the use of hands and feet.
So for the history, way back before the internet and video games were invented, Filipino kids used to create their own toys made from anything that surrounds them and play them with others. Sometimes they use their own bodies to play, and this is how they came up with Luksong Tinik. What matters to them the most when playing this game is the enjoyment and excitement it gives them. Luksong Tinik originated in Cabanatuan, Nueva Ecija, Philippines. It is the most common street game from the 1980s to 2000s. Most children were not used to playing alone in the house, which is why they go outside to play this game with their neighbors.
So what are the mechanics of the game? Two equal teams of 4 to 8 players each are formed from the participant. The height of the opponent team's piled hands must be passed by a team. No portion of the player's body or attire may be used to strike the piled hands. A sleeper may be thrown to decide who will jump first. The team that wins the toss will take the opening step. By using their hands and feet to make tinik or thorns, the opposing side acts as the taya or on base. So for the game rules, on the base, two players sit side by side, each placing a foot forward and touching the other player's foot. The opposite team then begins by having each player jump over their feet. The players on the base add a hand at a time once everyone has finished jumping over the feet. Above their feet, the palm and fingers are spread widely. Up until all of the base players have piled their hands over, the same procedure is repeated. The game is repeated with the jumpers jumping over once more after every jumper has crossed without touching the hands of the taya or the base player. It is regarded as a fault if the mother's kids hit the base player's hands, which is an error. The mother then leaps to rescue the misbehaving kid. The base players should make the jump if the mother is unable to do it successfully.
Did you know Luksong Tinik was introduced by Philippine Postal Corporation, which emphasized Filipino history, culture, and physical ability? The Larong Atin traditional game was introduced by the Philippine Postal Corporation while school was suspended due to the COVID-19 threat. Traditional games, which were given a special stamp in honor of being recognized as a living example of intangible heritage in the Philippines. The stamps demonstrate how these traditional games in the Philippines help kids build teamwork and motivate them to participate in sports and physical activity. Every one of our traditional games has a story to share about our traditionals and values. So, benefits to physical education of Luksong Tinik. So, children and adults can both enjoy this traditional Filipino street game that offers numerous skills health and psychological benefits. Players can improve their balance, agility, and other skill-related physical skills by using a variety of body movement. They can also increase their psychological advantage and flexibility.
So for the skill-related benefits, first is the agility. Rapid body direction changes, acceleration, and deceleration. It requires balance, strength, coordination, and rapid reflexes. Just like in many sports and physical activities, it is useful and necessary in Luksong Tinik, especially when avoiding the barriers and having more chances to win the game. Next is the coordination, the body's capacity for efficient and fluid movement. Players with good coordination can blend multiple movements into a single action. It's sophisticated skill that calls for not just outstanding balance, but also a high degree of strength and agility, which are necessary when jumping effectively over the thorns. And last, for the skill-related benefit is the balance. Balance is one of key components in playing this game. In definition, balance is the ability to control your body's position. Good balance is essential in many activities and sports. We rely on our eyes, ears, and body sense to maintain our balance. Having good balance enhances sports performance and helps to move freely and confidently. In Luksong Tinik, maintaining balance is needed when jumping and landing off the ground. Balance must also be executed by the ones who create the barrier, especially when it builds up as the game gets longer and harder.
So, benefits of Luksong Tinik in health-related skill is flexibility. So, flexibility is beneficial and essential in all sports. It is the capacity of the joints and muscle to flex and extend without experiencing any pain. It is crucial component of health that helps in prevention of injuries. Flexibility is important in Luksong Tinik, especially when creating a tinik because both hands and feet must be used. Next.
For the psychological component, happiness, it is the feeling of genuinely enjoying life and the desire to maximize it. Participating in sports benefits a person's well-being or happiness. Sports contribute to promoting psychological advantages that lead to happiness and achievement. So by playing this game, we are releasing hormones such as endorphins that trigger a positive feeling in our body. Next is friendship. It is a relationship of affection between two persons. Positive interpersonal traits like kindness, generosity, loyalty, and honesty are characterized by this relationship. Engaging in sports or physical activities can form new friendships and strengthen the existing friendship that you develop along the way. One key factor on how to enjoy the game is enjoy the environment with your playmate first. So while you're playing, you're enjoying each other's company. For the last subtopic, which is sports personship, when talking about sports personship, discuss the concern and the respect of one's full commitment for sports, rules, officials, social conventions, and opponents, as well as the relative absence of a negative approach toward participation. Because the majority of students perform well but do not respect the referee nor opponents while playing under the rules. This is the most significant psychological benefit that everyone should be aware of. And these are our references for this presentation.
And that ends our presentation for Luksong Tinik. Thank you so much for listening.